For tonight is two new acrylic templates that we have in the shop. We have one for aligning purse feet on your fabric and another for getting your rivets placed on your handles or straps. I have to tell you a story about this Rivet Centering Ruler. This one's probably been about a year in the making. Ed and Robin, who make all of our acrylic templates out in Arizona, we worked on some sort of rivet ruler quite a while ago. I want to say almost a year ago, and I got it back and something felt like it was missing from the template, but I didn't know quite what it was or where to go from there, so it sat on my bookcase for about a year and finally came back around to it, not by force, but it just happened. Had some more ideas to add to it, and this is the final ruler. So we're going to switch back over to the overhead and I'll show you how to use first the purse feet. Actually, let me hold this up. There we go, over some pink fabric so you can see it a little better. So this is the purse feet alignment ruler. There are measurements starting with 1 inch and going every ½ inch after that. So 1 inch, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, all the way up to 5 inches. You'll notice there's some holes, and the holes are big enough to accommodate a friction pen, which is one of my favorite marking tools. And I've prepared a piece. As you can see, this is a bottom panel for a bag. I've got some purse feet already inserted, and I've got another piece over here. The fabric is already attached to foam interfacing, and I'm going to show you how to use the ruler. So in a lot of my patterns, if I'm going to have optional purse feet, I'll give you the measurements for where to install them. You can also, if you're working from a pattern that doesn't have purse feet built into the pattern, or you just like to add your own, you can use this template. So I'm going to go off of a measurement that I like to use a lot for purse feet, off of a rectangular square bottom panel, and that's 1.5 inches. So you'll notice on 2 of the side edges there's dashes, and there's some on this side as well. So the dashes are just like a general ruler, every 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4, and then 1 inch. So the 2 edges with the dashes, you're going to line up on the raw edges of your fabric. And then I'm looking for the 1.5 inch measurement. So I'm going to go ahead and take my friction pen, make the marking through the template. I'm going to just swivel my template again so the dashed edges are aligned with the raw edges of the fabric. Again, looking for 1.5 inches. And I'm going to do the same thing for the remaining 2 edges. All right, that was fast and easy. Takes the guesswork out of it, and then you'll just install the purse feet like you normally would. I use my seam ripper, and I kind of usually like to angle it in toward the corner, and you always want to start with a smaller slit because you can always make a smaller slit bigger. And especially if I'm using quilting cotton or another fabric that will fray, I always like to put a dab of seam sealant on the holes before I insert the purse feet. So I'm going to use this fray block. Oh, I guess that was really raring to go, that little bottle. And then I'm just going to be inserting the purse feet through the right side of the fabric. And if you've noticed that your slits are too small, like I mentioned, you can always make them bigger. Okay, so you'll do the same thing to insert all 4 purse feet, and then you'll just flip to the wrong side of the fabric and open the prongs outward. So this is what it will look like with all of the 4 purse feet installed. I also pulled out a panel of fabric because not all bottom panels of bags are, you know, squared off edges. So I've got one with rounded edges over here. You'll use the purse feet alignment ruler in a similar manner. I'm going to align the edges with the dashes along the raw straight edges of the fabric. And since I need a darker marking tool, I'm going to be using this Tandy leather pen, which I demonstrated on a previous episode of Social Sunday. And instead of 1.5 inches from the corner, which is kind of close to the edge of the fabric, I think I might go with 2 inches instead. And you'll mark it in the same manner that we did with that previous demonstration. So really quick and easy. There's other measurements included in case you're working with a really big panel of fabric, and that's how to use the purse feet alignment ruler. Okay, one more demonstration with the second acrylic template that came in. Actually, I'm going to hold it up against I'm going to grab some pink fabric to hold it up against just so you can see all of the measurements. So this particular ruler is 12 inches long, and you'll notice there's 3 separate sections of this template. So I decided to go with the 3 separate sections. This section, all of the holes are 1/2 inch apart. The middle section, all of the holes are 3/4 of an inch apart. And this third section, all of the holes are 1 inch apart, and those are marked. So this is marked 1 inch spacing, 3/4 inch spacing, and 1/2 inch spacing. Another thing that I decided to add to this ruler is 1 inch bars. Now I know that not every strap or handle is 1 inch wide, but I found that having these bars is helpful because even if your strap is wider, say for example your strap is 1.5 inches, you can still center this and quickly mark out your hole. So the thing I found in the past when using a regular quilting ruler to make marks for my rivets is I was often in a hurry or choosing the wrong measurement or not paying attention, and sometimes I would have a rivet every 1 inch and then I'd make a mistake and one would be 1/2 inch away from the last. And so this acrylic template takes out the guesswork and makes sure that you don't make mistakes like those that I've made in the past. So first I'm going to pull out a bag that I'm working on. As you can see, I've already attached the handles to the exterior portion of the bag. This is already attached to the foam interfacing, and I'm going to go ahead and use the 1 inch spacing on the ruler. So I'm going to align the bottom edge with the bottom edge of the fabric just so that when I move over to the second side of the handle, I can make sure my measurements are equal. You can see I aligned the handle in between that 1 inch spacing. So you'll just align that with the edges of your fabric, and I'm going to start with 2 inches because I don't want to be so close to the bottom. So I'm going to measure, mark with my Tandy leather marker every 1 inch, and I'm going to stop over here with the 8 inches. As you can see, my mark's clearly right there. And then I'm going to move over to the second and make the rest of the markings. And as I mentioned, there's different spacings, so if you prefer your rivets to be a little bit closer together, no problem. Just choose either 3/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch, and it'll be the same process. So I'm not going to actually install rivets on this demonstration because I do already have a video that's a little bit longer showing how to install rivets, but here's the back of the bag. I used the same increments using the ruler, and I installed the rivets, and I don't think I've ever had rivets look so nice. What else was I going to say? If you have not installed rivets before or would like to learn a little bit more about that, I have a video on my YouTube channel. You can just do a search on the So Sweetness channel for rivets, and I can show you how I work my rivet press, a little bit more information about dies and rivet sizes, and all that is included in that video. So I have a thicker strap just to show you that this acrylic template also works for straps that are wider than 1 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and that 1 inch bar, I'm just going to go ahead and center that in between my top stitching, and that will easily allow me to make the markings down the center of the handle or strap. Okay, so that's the demonstration for the Rivet Centering Ruler and the purse feet alignment tool, and I hope you enjoyed that. And I know your traditional quilting rulers will get the job done just as well, but if you'd like a little bit of fuss-free marking, that's the Rivet Centering tool and the purse feet alignment ruler, and we have them both in stock on our website, and the link is in the description in case you'd like to check those out.